welcome to another little foray through what our grocery bill is. That's what Beth always calls cost of living video. So under the cost of living, you will forgive me if I try during this particular one to look at the little light which indicates where the actual camera eye is. Someone mentioned, I think it was Mark, said it's a little disconcerting to be watching someone who is speaking to you, but they're looking off to the side. Of course, I'm looking at my own image there and talking to me as if I'm another person, but that's not where the camera is. The camera is off over here, which is weird for me, but I'll do my best. Anyway, so back we are now to talking, and already I've been required to go and get more groceries. So we're definitely consuming more. Either we're consuming more, or in order to try to be frugal and spend less, I'm actually getting less. So let's have a quick look through our shopping list, the actual receipt. And then I will try to get to other things, which, as one subscriber said, it's good if you can deal with some more interesting subjects embedded into the grocery video, which is what I'm trying to do. So you'll forgive me if I appear to be speaking in some strange kind of code, but it's one of those things about Big Brother. And of late I have had certain of my posts, strangely enough, an old post was deleted from a few years ago. This is when Odette struck and the Bohol area was very heavily hit. Some of the outlying islands, the smaller islands, which are still quite heavily populated for the size of them, were very heavily hit. And we did several feedings where we went out there with a lot of food, and the police came out with us. We partnered quite a lot on many occasions with the PNP, who we always found terrifically helpful. When we were building houses, and if I were to text the police chief, on one occasion he sent 10 officers in work clothes, in fatigues, ready and able and willing to work painting the house that we were hoping to finish that day. So we were always very grateful for the help of the police. Well, we went out there, and during that time, of course, village life on a very small island is very much different to anything else on the mainland. Trying to regard Bohol as the mainland is a bit of a stretch, because it's also a very small island. But anyway, during that time, the island kids were running around as they normally do. And the first time that the post was put, by the way, these are not naked children, these are just kids dressed normally, but they're just running around on the beach, which was devastated. And it's hard to understand why it was that it was ever deemed inappropriate according to community guidelines. Just ridiculous when I can, if I choose to look at the wrong ad for, say, prostatitis or prostatitis, or whatever that's called, an ailment for men, which is the cure for which is supposed to aid virility. And if I'm not careful, before I know it, I'll be watching hardcore porn. I'm talking about it going in. Okay, so that's not being banned, and yet the image of little children playing on a beach gets my post deleted. So I have to be careful, because now it is being watched. And of late, what's happened is and I've already explained this on the last thing, so I won't go into it much. They are deleting my messages out. So I'll be making a message out, sending a message out. It looks as if it's gone. I'll go off and do something else. When I come back, it's been deleted. Go figure. Well, anyway, back to our list, having explained that try to work it out if I'm saying something in a very, very roundabout way. Now, I have noticed that things must be going up because we're not getting the same volume. I'll show you the volume that we're getting like I usually do, but I've got a box there which is showing what we've done. I'll put it all out on the table as I usually do, and I'm hoping I'm looking you in the eye when I'm saying this, okay? Right, so I did see that they've got honey, and even though we have got honey, I know it's the one that is the one that I normally get, and very often they haven't been able to get it, so they're out of stock. So even though we don't actually need it, I got it. So where are we? There we are. That's me bottle of honey. And yes, as one of my more educated subscribers remarked, very rightly said, if it pours from the fridge, it's not organic. This actually claims to be organic. And then there is another word there which might be a clue as to the fact that it's not quite as it says. It says cocoa honey, whatever. So here we are, Irish Spring again, original clean, and they've started to do the usual marketing of being able to do a rise in the price without actually changing anything. And if anything, they've reduced it. So now I buy it in these silly little sachets, but it's the only one that doesn't contain whitening, which I think I'm already white enough. So what else did I get? Beth asked me to get some chocolate drink. I couldn't find it, which is very often the case when she asks for something specific. Couldn't find it. Now, here's something that's interesting. They've done the repackaging marketing scam, in my mind, of the meat. And now, instead of going to an open pan, an open tray of meat, and picking what you want, putting it in a bag, and then paying for whatever it weighs at, they've started to make up these little bags. They're already calculated, they're already weighed and priced, as you can see. Now, if you look at that, it's not really a huge bag compared to what I get, and yet it's already 203 pesos, which I count that as being a price rise. And here's the other one. This one, what was this one called? This one's FM pork Ganesa. I think it's Ganesa. Anyway, that would be the thing there. And maybe I could get Talek to get off the couch and go and put that meat into the freezer. Let's see if that hint works. Talek, there you are. Could you put that into the freezer? Here she is, looking as lovely as ever. Thank you, Talek. So, there's nothing else as a surprise. This will surprise people who are in the West, who are used to going in and buying ever larger boxes of tea bags and everything. And what I have here, look, is Twinings. It's probably backwards, but it's Twinings. And instead of buying a box of these, which actually comes out pretty expensive, each individual tea bag is priced separately. And this one is jasmine green tea at one tea bag, and it's 16 pesos and 50 centavos. So that's how you buy those. So I went completely crazy, and I think I bought about 6. What else? A special request from Taliklit, who is the master chef in the house at the moment, and it is magic syrup. Heaven knows what would be in this. Certainly I do not. It's got one of those micro fonts, which actually I think that you'd have to be an ant wearing glasses to be able to know what's in that. But anyway, I buy it in the whole pack. Everything comes in a sachet. Even the drinks for Beth, they come in a sachet. That will make one drink. This, I guess, you can see what they are, and they will make just one drink, or one, they'll go in for one meal. So there's that. What else? Now I do like to have these are, but they can vary greatly. They are, I think of these as tangerines, but they're not quite tangerines, and yet they're not quite oranges. As you can see, look, there we go. I got a couple of those. And what was the price on that? And the price was 72 pesos. I got 2 of those. We ran out of eggs. I got eggs. Now eggs seems to be a price that everybody's very familiar with, because it goes up and down to such a huge degree. So let me see if I can find the eggs. No, let's see, fresh eggs. So 36 at 64 pesos. So 64 pesos. That gets you 6 eggs. And I got three of those boxes, well, crates, whatever. Now here's something that if you're a Brit and you're watching, and you're of sufficient age, maybe even as old as me, you'll remember going to the public baths when you were a kid, and you will remember afterwards going up and buying a hot drink, and it was either Bovril or Oxo. Oxo was the poor man's Bovril in those days, I believe, but for a penny you could go, and after freezing your small things off for a couple of hours and finally being thrown out, especially on a Sunday morning, you would have had one of these drinks. So this is how they made that. If it was Oxo, it was 1 cube. 1 cube. It was a beef cube. Now I haven't opened this, but I should, so let you have a look. Now just for nostalgia, I got those. Of course, it used to be square in those days, back in the olden days. It used to be square. But I got this because if you put that in a mug of like this, and you put that in it in boiling water, it will make a drink. So I got a pack of them, and we'll see if we can get these fussy women eaters to even try it. But if they don't, well, tough, because I will have it. So what else? All the usual: 2 potatoes, 52. 2 more potatoes, 42. Got some of the red onions, 46. We've got vinegar, have no idea. Cheddar cheese, which I always go up and I have a slice off the top there, look here, and I eat that as a snack, as a healthy snack. Oh look, 2 more treasure of these. And I got a few of my standbys, American baked beans. I'm absolutely positive that they are American. Also, these tuna, which when mixed with rice will make a meal. Got a cabbage. And the last of the canned food. So there, looking at it all. Now forgive me if that's not a perfect shot because I'm holding the camera the wrong way around. So anyway, all this little swag, but of course the meat is not there, that's already gone to the freezer, and that came to 1,722, and that's what that came to. Okay, so that's to do with that, and into what I'm not really into doing the thing of scaring and you know, the fear mongering which is so prevalent now, that we are being scared out of our pants by the next thing. I wonder if we lived in, as I was born at the start of the Second World War. I'm actually a middle child, and as you know, the middle child always gets blamed for everything. So I'd just like to make it clear now that I was not responsible for World War II. Okay, got that off my chest. Now, I wonder if we were threatened with World War II over and over and over. Did we get up in the morning to, we may have, well, it's the start of World War II. Right now, we're being threatened with that, and we're living with it to such a degree that, well, it's taken over. Do you remember when it was all the nuclear thing? We would be, I can remember being told by the teacher at school that if there was, it was called the 2 or 3 minute warning, and we would get the warning saying, it's so ridiculous when you think of it now. Imagine being a teacher and standing up in front of the class and saying, all right children, we have 2 minutes before the nuclear bomb hits, so everybody under their desks. That's good, children. Can you imagine that? All I remember is that the grassroots advice for an impending nuclear attack, and you'll pardon my French, was that if you knew that the bomb was on its way, you would sit down, lean over, put your head between your legs, your head between your knees, and kiss your ass goodbye. that was as practical a warning as you would get anyway. In that recent warning when Maui, I wasn't aware of this myself, but I saw Tulsi Gabbard mention it, and she said about being told to take cover. The idea that there would be anything that could cover you for an incoming nuclear attack, which melts everything at ground zero. So anyway, that's not going to happen, is it? And now, with all of this thing, that this country's bombed that country, and that country's retaliated, and now this country's warning another country that they will get a heavy smack on the wrist, and then it turns out that maybe the other country knew about that attack, and even though they said nothing to do with us, perhaps it was something to do with them, or that they had a little hand in it. They didn't actually fire the bullets, but they handed them over in neat little packs of magazines, or whatever they call it. So anyway, as I've said before, lying is the new truth. It seems to me the word that has been deleted from the dictionary is the word shame. There is no shame. Nobody's ashamed. You can catch someone in a lie, and they can say, hey, it's just simply not true. And you may have waived the document which has copies of all of their emails where they said, I did it, it's my fault, I'm all to blame. And then when the camera goes on, then they say, who, me? And nothing happens. The thing that I see in the comments of all of these reports, where people who were in charge of departments that had 40,000 people under them, and they don't know a simple statistic when Senator Kennedy asks them for it, like how many people were let out of jail, and of those people that were let out, how many came back on a return conviction. And the head said, the stock answer, I don't have that statistic in front of me, but I can get back to you with it. So, lying is the new truth. And I think probably the phrase barefaced should also be stricken from the dictionary or the phrase book, along with the word shame, because nobody feels it anymore. But I better ring off now, and hope that this video is not deleted. Thanks for being with me. Hope you enjoyed the prices. They have gone up a bit, I think.